here. So today is after a very long time I'm making a video, and I've realized that I was in a deep slumber and I am making a video after like 2 months probably, and today I am here to review a very interesting book series that you might not have heard of. Now basically it is based upon dystopia. Now most of the people that are watching this video are aware of dystopia and most of them are unaware. So to those of you who are unaware of what dystopia is, let me tell you what dystopia is. Now dystopia is basically a world that is being tortured or is in control of an evil force. So basically this is what dystopia is. So this is a very interesting dystopian series called the Maze Runner series. Now this is a trilogy of 3 books: The Maze Runner, The Scorched Trials and The Death Cure. And you also have 2 more books that actually act as a prequel to it but are in that particular series. Without any further delay, let us get into our book review. So today I'm going to review the first book of the Maze Runner series, which is Maze Runner. Yeah, it's Maze Runner. And this book has a very interesting plot to it, and I really love how the author of this book, James Dashner, has created this plot and put in these characters. Let me tell you how did I get my hands on this book. So one of my friends had recommended me this book. So I had heard of it, I had heard many reviews that it is a very good book and you should read it. So when I was going through my school library, I was not able to find a very good book, and most of the books in my school library were ones which weren't of my age or the ones I've already read. Then I came across a book called The Maze Runner and I grabbed it, and the things that people said to me about this book rushed through my mind, so I just quickly grabbed it and started reading. Now let me get into the book review and let me tell you who are the main characters. So first of all, the main character of this book and the protagonist is Thomas. Now Thomas finds himself conscious in an elevator shaft. Now that elevator, he doesn't know where this elevator takes him through. So he waits approximately an hour in that elevator, and then he gets into and he lands up into a whole new world. There were around 60 people living in that particular area. Now the people who were living in that particular area were called the Gladers, and the place was called the Glade. Yes, the Glade. And one more thing Thomas noticed when he landed up into that place was that most of the people in that area were teenagers, maybe the ages of 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So when he arrives in this place, he started asking questions to other people where he was. And most fascinating thing about when he landed into the Glade was that he lost his memory. Now, lost his memory in the sense, not completely lost his memory, like not knowing what a house is, not knowing what a school is, not knowing what a playground is, not knowing what a field is. No, not that kind of stuff, and or obviously not knowing what animals are. No, so that is not the thing that you might be thinking of. Basically, it doesn't know the names of things. For example, if you want, he doesn't remember the names of his parents. The only name he remembers is his first name, that is Thomas. He doesn't remember his surname. So that is the thing that you have to keep in mind. So when he enters this area, the area is surrounded by big walls. And by big walls, I mean very, very big walls. Almost 100 feet. So he meets a lot of people, and the people he meets are very kind, are very generous, and most of the people in that area do some kind of a job or a work. Now he gets introduced to his new friends, and one of his new friends he finds is Chuck. So when Thomas thinks and he asks questions to a lot of people, and he asks things that what about these walls, these big walls that surround the glade, and they're partially open during the daytime, and during the evening and the night time they end up closing. Now he is very curious and he wants to know the reason for this. So when he asks a lot of people, he asks the leader of the glade. The leader of the glade is Alby, and Alby tells Thomas that these walls are closed during the night time because they had to. There are creatures called the grievers. Now grievers are very terrifying creatures, and you don't want to see them. Actually, I read about them, but I actually don't want to see them in real life. So they're terrible creatures, and once you get stung by a griever, you stay unconscious. Not dead, but unconscious. And the one sting of a griever is so fatal that you can also die. So the cure of the grievers is when a griever stings you is the grief serum, and when you inject that grief serum, you go something to the changing. Now changing is a very complex thing to explain. So I'm not going to explain it. You can read the book and find it out yourself. So Alby tells all of these things to Thomas, and Thomas also gets to know that these walls open and they lead into a maze. Yes, you heard it. They lead into a maze, and they have to escape from that maze, and they obviously have to escape from that maze, or they will forever stay in the glade. And the glade is a very big place, so it is quite the size of a very big football ground, or maybe bigger than that, but not bigger than a city. Okay, so as I was telling you that about the runners, let's get back to the runners. The runners are the people who go out in the maze to discover things, to discover how the walls work, how they close, and obviously these things were discovered by the runners, and they figure out the patterns to all these walls, how do they move, what codes they create, what patterns they create. So they just find out these things, and obviously they go into the maze to find out these things. Now later on, Thomas becomes a runner in this book, and being a runner is a very, very courageous task, I mind you. So at the end of this book, Thomas and other gladers have to get out of the maze and see what the real world is, and they have not yet got to know who were exactly the creators of this maze and who put them in this terrible maze. Now one more interesting thing in this book was that a newbie, a new person in the Glade appears every 1 month. Yes, they appear every one month. But after, when Thomas came into the Glade, the very next day, another new member came into the Glade, and the most weirdest part of it was the new member was a girl, and every member in the Glade was a boy, and she was only the girl. And what the most craziest part of this book was that Thomas and that girl, and the name of that girl is Teresa, can telepathically converse. Now this is the most bizarre and most interesting points and the parts of this book, and this is the reason why I really love this book, and I really recommend you to read this book, because this book is different, and different in the sense different from other novels, other dystopian novels. Now, good examples of dystopian series are obviously Hunger Games, Divergent, but this book is a book that is for the younger people to read and to get into the world of dystopia and know more about dystopia. I know Hunger Games and Divergent are some of the most popular series, but these series are for some like older people, like 15 or 16 years old or 14. So this is not my age to read it. Actually, I am 12. So I wanted to get introduced to dystopia and know more about dystopia, because I am a reader who wants to know more about different genres. So I hope I convinced you to go to Amazon, go to Flipkart, or go to any other bookstore or any other online bookstore to buy this book, the Maze Runner book, and you can obviously buy the series as well. Unfortunately, I don't have the cover of this book. As I said, I got it from the library, and I've obviously returned it to my library. Actually, I read this book 2 months ago, but because of my examinations, I couldn't find time to upload a video and review this book. So thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed. And after a long time, you guys saw me creating a video, so I hope that you are having a wonderful day and enjoying my video, watching my video. Thank you all. Goodbye.